Hello everyone, and welcome back to Think Outside the Board for the third crowdfunding roundup of October 2023. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my picks of everything that launched in the board game world on crowdfunding between October the 11th and the 17th. There are 8 campaigns to review today, 6 on Kickstarter, 1 on Gamefound, and 1 on Backerkit. My videos are tabbed, so you can scroll over the play bar and find exactly the content that you're looking for if you don't have time to watch the whole video. And there are links to all of the campaigns in the description section. The best way to support this channel is still to like and subscribe. And at the end of the video, I'll be going over campaigns that are likely to appear in next week's video, as well as games that are new to my collection that are ripe for teach and review videos and live streaming, which are 2 things that I'll be launching soon. So I'd like your feedback on which of those games you're most excited to see appear in either of those formats. Without any further ado, let's just barrel forward and get to the 8 campaigns for the week. Now, the first of these is called KeyForge Grim Reminders. This campaign launched on October the 12th. It's going to run until October the 30th, which we can see if we flip this. So October the 30th right there. This is currently at $291,000. They had a $50,000 funding goal, which is just shy of about a 6-time multiplier. Now, KeyForge is designed by Richard Garfield. People probably know him from some other games. He's designed a wide variety of games. It includes Android Netrunner, Bunny Kingdom, King of Tokyo, Magic the Gathering, and Robo Rally. And he was the sole designer on Magic the Gathering, so I think that alone speaks a lot. And there are some similarities between Magic and KeyForge. There's an interesting story with KeyForge, which is that it was first published by Fantasy Flight Games. At some point in time, there was, I believe, an angry employee who sabotaged the algorithm that they used to make the decks. So they had this algorithm, and every single deck that was packaged was unique and different. So once that algorithm was destroyed, they had to start completely over. And Fantasy Flight sold or gave the license to KeyForge to the current publisher, Ghost Galaxy. And Ghost Galaxy is now best known for KeyForge as well as Mindbug. So they are currently the publisher here. Now, this is a fighting card game with hand management and take that. And it's a 2-player game, although there are occasionally ways to play it with more people. I believe there's like a cooperative variant that you can play that has 3 players. So this is not like Magic the Gathering in the sense that you need to go and hunt down different cards, but it is a collectible card game, and they still do lean into that. So there are ways that you can get all the cards that they use when they're, the algorithm is selecting individual cards for the various decks, and there's also pledges that give you a shit ton of decks. So this campaign will get very expensive once you get into the high pledges, because it's going to be for people who just want to pledge for a large number of decks. Let's take a look at both of the videos here. There's one for KeyForge in general, one for Grim Reminders, but they're each about a minute long, and then we'll go over these 7 different pledges. Actually 6. There's a 7th that's a vanity reward that takes the 6th pledge level and just adds on a unique card made in your image. And that's a fairly expensive pledge on top of some other very expensive pledges. All right, so that's kind of a little teaser trailer for KeyForge itself. And then if we go over here, we're going to get another short teaser trailer for Grim Reminders. So this is the new faction for this campaign, the Cestoid. Or Guestoid, I think. Okay, so that's the videos that you're going to get for this. It's not much. It just gives you a little bit of a look at the cards themselves. But just know that this is, a player versus player card battling game with a lot of collectible elements to it. So 7 different pledges. I'm just going to say it now. I'll say it once during this video. I'm going to talk about shipping a lot over the course of this video. Whenever I talk about shipping, I'm talking in terms of the continental US. So if you're located anywhere else, you're going to need to adjust the shipping for your area. Okay, let's get started here. So the first pledge is this Novice of the Crucible. If you don't have any KeyForge, this is the best place to start, especially if you're wanting to start small. So with this pledge, you're going to get the 2-player starter set, 2 packs of Grim Reminders, and stretch goals. Simple, easy. $60, $12 in shipping, $72 total. From there, we go to Seeker of Decks. Now, this is for somebody who already has the base game. They just want to get a handful of the new decks. So this is $75, $10 shipping, $85 total. It's going to include 6 copies, or I should say 6 different Grim Reminders decks and stretch goals. Easy, done. Now we go to Reaper of Amber. And this is where things start to get a little bit more expensive. This is a $160 pledge, $12 in shipping, $172 total. With this pledge, let's go into it here. You're going to get a personalized KeyForge Grim Reminders deck, and then you're going to get a dozen different generic Grim Reminders decks. These are all created individually from their algorithm. With this pledge, though, you're also getting a personalized playmat, a personalized poster, a Grim Reminders playmat, and stretch goals. Okay, so that's $172. And now things are going to start to get a little bit crazy. So we go to Breaker of Chains, which, we're jumping from $172 to $472. So this is a $450 pledge, $22 in shipping, $472 total. So this is a jump upwards of $300 from the last pledge. And we're going to go in and look at this here because they start to give you multiple copies of everything. I'm assuming this is if you're going to be playing with some friends. And there is a kind of a cooperative version. This is the Great Hunt. Let's see, a KeyForge adventure for 1 to 3 players. Players use their own KeyForge decks from their collection and work together as a team to earn the most renown before their time runs out. So they're assuming, since this is kind of one of the new elements in this pledge, that you're going to be playing this with up to 3 players. That means you're getting 3 personalized posters, 3 personalized playmats, 1 Grim Reminders playmat, 1 copy of the Great Hunt. You're getting 36 Grim Reminders decks. These are the new decks, the general decks. They're all mixed and matched. They're randomly constructed through this algorithm. But you're getting 36 of these. You're also getting stretch goals. There's a plushie in this pledge level. You are getting 3 different Grim Reminders decks that are personalized. So you each would have 1 of these if you're playing with 3 players and you're doing that cooperative version. And then you're getting 3 copies of this Awakenings Grim Reminders Special Edition deck. So why is this special? Why is this a special edition? Well, it says, like the savior of KeyForge decks designed in the KeyForge Winds of Exchange campaign, the Awakenings decks feature a special graphic treatment that will only be available to backers of the KeyForge Grim Reminders campaign. So this is stuff that will not be available at retail, and it's just, special graphics. You could probably liken it to like foil cards, but they're not foil cards. There's just something else going on with them that makes them special. Now, if we go up the pledges from here, they're going to start to get even crazier. So that was Breaker of Chains. The next one here is Turner of Keys. This is a $775 pledge with $30 in shipping for $805 total. And we can see that with this one, you're still getting those 3 personalized Grim Reminders decks. Instead of getting 3 of the special edition decks, you're now getting 6. You're still getting 3 personalized playmats, 3 personalized posters, 1 Grim Reminders playmat, 1 copy of The Great Hunt, 1 plushie, stretch goals. You're now getting 72 Grim Reminders decks. So in the previous pledge, you were getting 36. You're now getting 72. And then you're getting this Grim Reminders collector's set. And what this is a copy of all of the cards that are in KeyForge. 399 cards in the Grim Reminders set. So you're getting all of these cards, and that way you could mix and match them and make your deck exactly the way you want it, and you don't have to buy multiple copies of decks to get the kind of assemble the decks you want. However, you're still only getting 1 copy of each card in this, and it's $100 just for this. Things get expensive when people want to dive deep into collectible card games. All right, from there we go to Architect of the Crucible, and this is where it starts to get insanely expensive. So this is a $1,500 pledge with $50 shipping, $1,550 total. You are now getting 12 copies of the special edition deck instead of, I think it was 6 in the last one. Is that right? Let's see. Yeah, 6. So you're now doubling that number. You're still getting 3 different personalized decks. You're still getting 3 personalized playmats, 3 personalized posters, copy of The Great Hunt, the plushie, Grim Reminders playmat, stretch goal rewards, a collector's set, but they've doubled this one again. So the Grim Reminders deck, you're getting 144 of these different decks. 144 going up from 72. Yeah, so they're just, when you go from one pledge to another, they're doubling both of those items. The special editions and the decks themselves. And then we go to this last pledge. This is called Architect of the Crucible Premium. This is $2,000. This is the exact same content as the $1,500 pledge. The shipping on this is $50, so $2,050 once you bring in the shipping. The only thing that's added to this is that you can get a card made in your likeness. And where is it showing here? The Crucible and Me. However, there were only 10 of these. They're already sold out. This is something that you can't even pledge at this point in time unless somebody who's already pledged it drops their pledge and you jump in at the right moment. But this would allow you to get a card made in your image, a super personalized card for the game. All right, that's a lot of stuff. Now, we can go over here to the add-ons. There are add-ons as well. You can get copies of the 2-player starter set for $40. You can get Grim Reminders decks for $11 each. You can get these Special Awakening decks for $15 each. You can get the Grim Reminders playmat for $20. The collector's set, with this is the one with every one copy of every copy of the card, $100 for that. This is the cooperative mode, $25. And then you've got some other stuff. You've got some playmats for $30, and you've got sets of cards that were available previously. So Rise of the Kirakin, $25, and I believe, let's see. This is another of those cooperative modes. And we've got the Abyssal Conspiracy. This is another cooperative mode, so $25 for that one. We've got a Special Conspiracy playmat for $30 if you want, that kind of theming in your playmat. We've got this Fall of the House Gormengeist. This is another one of those adventures, so this is also $25. That seems to be pretty universal, that their cooperative adventures are $25 a pop. There's a Gormengeist playmat for $30. And then we've got more decks from previous campaigns. You've got Winds of Exchange decks for $13, Dark Tidings decks for $13 each. This KeyForge Unchained for $15. You've got the Worlds Collide Deluxe deck here. This is also a $15 deck. Winds of Exchange collector set. So similar to the collector set for this campaign, this will give you all of the cards that were created for the Winds of Exchange campaign. This is $100 for this. Another plushie here, the Gruen plush figure for $30. And then we've got deck books that you can hold your cards in. They're $11. They come in 3 different colors. So there's a lot of stuff that you could sink a lot of money into if you want, but if this is something that is, if KeyForge is something that appeals to you, my advice would be just go towards one of the cheaper pledges. Maybe add on a couple things like additional cooperative adventures or something like that. But yeah, if you want to go crazy and spend thousands of dollars and get hundreds of decks, you have the ability to do that. Finally, KeyForge Grim Reminders and all of the extra accoutrements that you decide to pledge through this campaign are going to deliver in March of 2024. So this is our first kind of big campaign of the video, just with a lot of stuff to go over, a lot of money that could be spent. There'll be one more of these kind of big campaigns before we finish. But for now, we're going to change gears and take a look at classified information. KeyForge is on Gamefound, by the way. Classified information is on Kickstarter. This was a 10/16 launch. They have about 10 grand here in the bank on a $1,700 funding goal, so they're well funded. And this campaign is going to run until November the 2nd. Now, this was designed by Justin Gunnell, and it's being published by his company in Credit Quest Games. This is a first for both of them. And I'm always pretty wary of first-time designers and first-time publishers just because they're doing this for the first time and they haven't dealt with logistics and production chains and shipping and all of that stuff. And there's always room for anything to go wrong anywhere along those lines, and they do. So when we're dealing with first-timers, I always say be more careful. I think for this campaign, you have to be less careful because this is a micro card game. It's an 18-card card game. There's not a lot production-wise, and I also like to showcase campaigns that can appeal to people who are on more of a budget, and certainly KeyForge gets insane. But this is a very affordable game with smaller price points and much less to produce. So even though this is first-timers running this, the overhead and everything, it's just much smaller all around. So I wouldn't be too worried about this one personally. But let's take a look at this video and then we'll go over the 2 pledges and the add-ons.
Speak too loudly around here, but have you heard of classified information? It's a quick playing 2-player deduction micro game in just 18 cards. Can't say too much though. They are listening to everything.
Blade here. Did you see where she went? I was hot on her trail. Did she tell you about classified information? Each player has a high-tech, secure suitcase filled with classified intelligence documents. Here's mine. I guard it with my life. Each suitcase is protected by a 3-digit code. The goal is simple. Just end the game with 1 card in your hand that matches one of the numbers in your opponent's suitcase code. Sounds easy enough, right? But you only have 6 turns. There's Luna.
So let's get started. On each of your 6 turns, there's 3 things you can do. You can encrypt, like Blade just did. It takes a card, but more importantly, critical information out of the game. You can also play a card for its guild. I'm going to play a guard to add extra protection to my suitcase against Blade's antics. If a guard is in play at the end of the game and its number matches a number in your suitcase code, your opponent can't win with that number. It's pretty stealthy, huh? Wow, already moving to turn 2. Another guild is the Assassin's Guild. I can attempt an assassination on a face-down guard like Blade's. If it was face-up, it'd be easier, but I don't have the luxury of time right now. The 3s match! A success!
Darn, you got him.
Oh yeah, and you can play cards for their abilities. I'm playing Fortune Teller and naming the number 6. Now Blade has to tell me if his suitcase number is within a range of 2 from the number I guessed. That's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, my suitcase is within the range.
Now I'm cornering him. Remember, in classified information, knowing what you need is only half the battle. Making sure you have it is the other half. I need to get that 7 back.
Take that.
Another guard from Blade. Since guards are tiebreakers, Blade can beat me if I can't match a number in his code. I need to focus on the prize. Scavenge will let me get that 7. Last turn, no more draws. Okay, time for the final reveal. Aha! Gotcha, Blade! My 7 is an unblocked hit and your 8 whiffs.
You got me, Luna. Woo! What a game. Hey, look. There are 2 more 18-card sets. And you can mix and match the decks for different play experiences.
And what's that, a deluxe box? With all 3 decks, premium suitcase tokens, markers, sleeves, and stands for your cipher wheel?
Awesome.
Yeah, we have to back this game.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
So kudos to them for keeping this really simple and offering 2 different versions that I think appeal to 2 different audiences. They're still both very simple. So the first one is this pouch set. This is a $19 pledge. And let's just go down to see the components in it. I want you to be able to see what are in the 2 different versions. Okay. Here we go down the pledge tiers. This is the pouch set. So you're getting 18 cards. You're getting that first of the decks. You've got 2 of these little standees, and you're getting 2 cipher wheel cards. These are the cards that you're using for your deduction with the dry erase markers. You get 2 dry erase markers and a fabric pouch. So really everything can go into this pouch, and it's like a travel card game. And it's a 2-player deduction game. It's got hand management. Reminds me a lot of the Button Shy games. But, you know, this is your cheapest version here and super portable. Take it on the go. $19, $5 in shipping, $24 total. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper into this, you've got this deluxe box pledge, which is going to include the 2 other decks. So essentially that's 3 different games, but as they mentioned in the video, you can combine the decks together, so it creates much variability. I don't want to say unlimited, but a lot of variability in terms of how this plays. You also get upgraded stands, you get premium resin suitcase tokens, you get card sleeves, and you get a deluxe box to keep it all in. So that pledge, still fairly cheap, $33, and I think this is where you get the real variability in the game, because in the other version of the game, you're just going to be using those same 18 cards over and over. In this version, you've got the 3 decks, and then you can mix and match them. So with shipping, which is $8, this is a $41 pledge, and that's as high as it goes for this one. Now, there is a couple of add-ons, because you can add on the various decks, those 2 other decks. Personally, I would just get the deluxe box, right? That's the easiest way to do it. But if you wanted to do this as add-ons, you could add on any one of the 3 decks, additional copies for $9 each. And classified information is slated to deliver in October of 2024. Okay, from there we're going to look at another smaller game. This is Villagers of the Oak Dell. This is a roll and write. And this is by another, well, there's 2 co-designers on this one. Michael Lapato, and this appears to be Michael's first design. The publisher here is 2 Acorns Games, and this is a first for them as well. But then the other co-designer is Przemysław Fornal, who is best known for Terracotta Army, which is a game from Board and Dice. I actually own it. I haven't played it yet, but I've heard really good things about it. And that's a lot of why I'm showing you this, because I'm just curious to see what he's done in a roll and write form. And also in roll and writes, there's very little risk involved. You know, usually it's like a $5 or $10 pledge. There's no shipping. because you're just getting access to the files. You'll download the files, you'll print and play it. And this had a $1,000 funding goal. They're at $9,000, so they're really well funded, and they've got 10 days left to go. This is going to run until November the 1st. This was also an October 16th launch, by the way. So this is a Euro-style roll and write game. It's a little bit heavier than some roll and write games, but probably not as heavy as something like Roman Roll or Hadrian's Wall. But it is a Euro-style roll and write, so there's going to be a little bit more going on than in maybe your average, very light roll and write. So let's take a quick look at the short video, and then we'll go over the 2 pledges. There you go. Okay, let's go down and look at these pledges. And on the left side here, you'll see kind of what is in this game. So the base pledge is €5, which is $6. And this is what you're getting. You're getting the kind of normal sheets that you're going to be playing on, the village sheets. Then you've got some dice sheet, objective sheets, an optional box, blueprint. There's a DIY video if you kind of want to make a box for this. And $6, no shipping. And it's going to deliver pretty quickly because all they have to do once the campaign is done, November 1st, maybe they'll take a week, kind of process the end of the campaign, and then release the files. So this should be something that you'll have in your hands very, very soon, within a month of pledging. Now, there is a second pledge here for the full game. This is an $11 pledge. Again, no shipping, so that's the total. And that's going to get you everything from the previous pledge, plus there's going to be 4 new maps, which they're going to be creating over the next couple months, in December, January, they're saying. So there's going to be a campaign mode that you can do with this, which they're stressing is really good for solo play. But each of these different maps is themed around a different season. So you've got winter, spring, summer, and autumn. This will create a lot more variability than just playing on the same map every time. And of course, as they say, there's this ability to do a campaign mode. So I think this looks like a pretty good roll and write, and I'm always willing to take more of a chance on roll and writes because it's generally a pretty cheap endeavor and pretty low risk. So November 2023 is the delivery technically for this game, even though they're not actually sending you anything, they're just going to be giving you access to the files. All right, from here we go to our second kind of ginormous campaign of the video of the week, and this is for Dice Throne. And I watched a video that Jeremy Howard was talking about from Liege of Games, and he talked a little bit about this and went off on some of his hang-ups for this campaign. And I'll talk about that as we go on. One of those hang-ups is the fact that there is this deluxe Deadpool box that comes with this, and there are acrylic tokens in this deluxe Deadpool box, but there are no cardboard tokens. Now, in everything else, you're getting cardboard tokens by default, and then if you want the acrylic tokens, you can go to a much higher pledge level, or you can add them on. Now, the thing is, the acrylic tokens are very expensive. If you're getting acrylic tokens for all of the 3 things that are involved in this, the new X-Men stuff, the missions, and the older Marvel stuff. So they're making some things for the Marvel battle chest that was kickstarted a couple years ago, because when that came out, they did not offer minis for it, There were only standees. So now they're offering the minis through this campaign, and the acrylic tokens didn't exist. So if you're wanting to get all of the acrylic tokens for both of the Marvel sets and for the missions, that's a $135 cost, which is really expensive on its own, just for acrylic tokens. Even though Roxley is an amazing publisher and they publish great games and they have great component value, and I have a lot of faith in Roxley. So I'm not so much worried about, people pledging this and then not getting it, but the cost is high. And so the first thing I would say to do if you're trying to reduce costs, don't get the acrylic tokens. The other things that really kind of elevate the cost of this throughout are the pre-painted minis and the sleeves. But, sleeves in a card game, I think that's something you might want to do. Dice Throne Adventures is amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if some point they do a whole new version of Dice Throne Adventures specifically for Marvel. But for now, it's kind of themed around their first 2 battle chests with their own characters, but there's no reason that you can't bring Marvel characters into this. Now, if you had the Marvel battle chest previously, you had to use standees, which they gave you, that came with it. However, there were pre-painted minis available for their other characters for their first 2 battle chests, which means you might have been playing Dice Throne Adventures with some characters with minis and some characters with standees, which is a little bit weird. I mean, if you're trying to save money, you can certainly do it, but it makes things inconsistent. So through this campaign, you can now get minis for the original Marvel battle chest, and you can also get minis for the new X-Men characters. I think Dice Throne is an amazing game. I really love it. People critique it a little bit, calling it, battle Yahtzee, and that's superficially true. But some of the genius of Dice Throne is that they're using tokens, upgraded cards and multi-use cards, and dice. And there's ways to mitigate the dice and bring out different tokens, bring out different cards. So even though it is, technically a luck-based game because you're rolling dice, it's all about how you mitigate that luck and how you change your dice, bring in tokens, use your different cards. So there still is a lot of strategy involved. It is not a purely luck-based game. It's all about the engine that you build to mitigate your luck. And it's a fantastic game. I love it in all of its forms, and I say this as someone who generally prefers heavy Euros. So even for me, I don't mind the luck in this, and I think it is so well designed and so well produced. It's an evergreen game for me. Now, it's published by Roxley, who are probably best known for doing the 2 new versions of Brass Birmingham and Brass Lancashire. They do all of the Dice Throne stuff. They've also published Radlands, Santorini, and Steampunk Rally. They also have Skyrise delivering later this year. But their production is always off the charts. They just make great games, great produced games, great looking games, well-designed games. Now, Dice Throne was originally co-designed by Manny Tremblay, the artist, who's also worked on Radlands and Wonderland's War as an artist. But he co-designed this with Nate Chatelier, and they did it in Nate's basement or garage. And they self-published for a while, and then Roxley heard about it, and Gavin Brown got on board, and he worked with them, so he got some co-designing credit in the end. And they repackaged the original stuff as the Season 1 re-rolled battle chest, and then they launched a Season 2 battle chest, and now they're heading off into the world of Marvel and X-Men. So those are your 3 now co-designers. Gavin Brown runs Roxley, and as a designer, he worked on Super Motherlode with Matt Tolman, and then he and Matt Tolman took Martin Wallace's Brass design and retweaked it into Brass Birmingham, which most gamers now consider the best version of Brass. So you can credit that to Gavin and Matt Tolman. Now, the other cool thing about this game is you can play it as a 1v1. You can play it as a, kind of everyone for themselves with a lot of people all playing at once. And if you have Dice Throne Adventures, you can use the villains from that and have other players fight those villains in a 1 versus many game. And then, of course, also in Dice Throne Adventures, you've got a cooperative dungeon crawler. So there's a lot of kind of forms of this game. There's a lot of way to play it. and they're all really good depending on what you're looking for. So we're going to take a look at this video, and then we'll go over the 7 pledges and parse through a lot of the high costs of this campaign, and we'll look at ways that you can try to minimize those costs and make it more affordable for yourself, because I think even though they have card sleeves and pre-painted minis and these expensive acrylic tokens and all those costs add up, if you just want the gameplay, you don't need to do all that. You can get much cheaper versions of this so that you can still get all of the gameplay without all of those expensive extras.
Introducing X-Men Dice Throne, featuring 9 of our most innovative and thematic heroes yet. Now you can experience the fully cooperative adventure with Marvel Dice Throne missions. With double-sided boards set up as lightning fast, choose a scenario that works for your group's difficulty and playtime. Brave through a variety of heroic tales as you challenge henchmen, puzzles, and unstoppable threats while managing the crisis clock. Recruit allies from the Marvel Universe to join your team in fighting notorious Marvel villains. Earn experience points to unlock perks in a persistent player progression system that you as a player take with you, regardless of your next hero or mission. Enhance your gameplay experience with upgraded accessories that go along with the 9 new heroes. Our most ambitious project yet is compatible with the entire Dice Throne universe. Don't miss out on this ultimate Marvel adventure. Back now.
Now you could see in that video that there are standees for the new characters. So they actually don't mention that on the page, but they show it in the video. So I believe that just as with the original Marvel Battle Chest, you will be getting standees. And if you don't want to, back for the pre-painted minis, but you want to be able to play Dice Throne Adventures, or you want to be able to play the new cooperative mode here that they've created for this campaign, you will be able to do that using standees. So that's another way you can cut out costs by not getting those pre-painted minis. Okay, let's take a look at the pledges here. The first of these is Deadpool Deluxe. And this is the one that breaks some of the rules here because he comes with his own miniature. There's no option to not get the miniature. And he also comes with those acrylic tokens. And I don't believe he comes with the cardboard tokens. So he's going to be a little inconsistent if you forego the acrylic tokens for the other characters, but so be it. I think if you're wanting to save $135, just do it and let it be inconsistent. And then you'll have one character with acrylic tokens and they'll be fun to play with when you play him. He also comes with sleeves for himself. So he's kind of like an all-in thing. And if you're someone who's getting a lot of Dice Throne, you've got all of it, you've got all of the battle chests, it is a little weird that you're going to have these 2 standalone packages that don't go into any battle chests, one of them being this new Deadpool Deluxe, and the other one being the Santa Krampus 2-character set they came out with a year or 2 ago. But that is your first pledge. It is a $25 pledge, $7 in shipping, $32 total. If we go down a little bit further, this is the cooperative mode that is now new, Marvel Dice Throne Missions. This is a $60 pledge, $10 in shipping, $70 total, and this is also going to come with the promo pack for Dice Throne Missions. So there are a couple different promo packs in this. There's one for Dice Throne Missions. There's also one for the X-Men Battle Chest. And whichever thing you get, you're going to get the promo pack for that thing. And if you order a bundle, you'll get both of those promo packs. I don't think there's a Deadpool promo pack. No, there's not. Like, he doesn't need his own promo pack, right? But with this, you're going to be getting 12 unique maps, so 12 different kinds of cooperative play, also a solo mode, and yeah, just a cooperative gameplay mode that is not Dice Throne Adventures, because if you wanted to pick that up, and it's amazing, it's a great dungeon crawler, but it is expensive in its own right. And this way you've got a different kind of cooperative game that's cheaper. Okay, then we've got the limited edition X-Men Battle Chest. So this has all of the other new 8 characters, not including Deadpool. This will come with, their standees, theoretically, although they're not actually listed in the page, and the promo pack for the X-Men. So this is a $99 pledge, $10 shipping, so $109 total. Now, if we go here to new gameplay, this is a bundle with all 3 of those things. It's $169, $15 shipping, $184 total, and you'll be getting both of the promo packs for this one, the Missions promo pack and the X-Men promo pack. So the Marvel gameplay bundle, $259 pledge, $25 in shipping, $284 total. What this is going to add on is the Marvel Battle Chest that was kickstarted a couple of years ago. And you're going to get the promo pack for that. So this is everything Dice Throne Marvel and none of the upgrades. Now things will get very expensive once we start heading in the upgrades. So all the new things backs out the Marvel Battle Chest. So this is going to be for people who have backed that in the past. They don't need that, but they want all of the new stuff, including the new upgrades. So it's the same as the new gameplay bundle, but with the extras, right? So no Marvel Battle Chest in this one. So we've got all the new things, $449, $30 in shipping, $479 total. So you're getting all those 3 new things. But now you're also getting acrylic tokens for the mission packs, for X-Men, and for Marvel, right? So you wouldn't need that if you didn't already have the original Marvel Battle Chest. So if you don't already have the original Marvel Battle Chest, I would not back this pledge level because you're getting things that go along with that. You're also getting the Marvel and X-Men sculpts, the pre-painted minis. And again, if you don't have the original Marvel Battle Chest, you don't need those sculpts. You're also getting X-Men sleeves and you're getting mission sleeves. You're not getting Marvel sleeves because Marvel sleeves were available during that original Marvel Battle Chest campaign. There were sleeves available, there were not acrylic tokens, and there were not pre-painted minis. So this will get the player who already has the Marvel Battle Chest all of the upgrades for it, along with all of the new stuff and the upgrades for the new stuff. They also, through that previous campaign, they had a dice tray, a Marvel dice tray. This campaign has an X-Men dice tray, so the X-Men dice tray is included at this level. There are a bunch of playmats also, but none of the playmats are included at this level. Finally, the biggest, most craziest pledge here is this Marvel All-In for $599 plus $35 in shipping, $634 total. So this includes everything from this previous pledge, plus all of the stuff from that Marvel Battle Chest campaign from a couple years back. So in this pledge level, you are now getting that Marvel Battle Chest, you're getting the promo pack that came with that, you're getting the Marvel dice tray that was available through that campaign, and you're getting the Marvel sleeves. So this is for something who has none of that stuff but wants everything. All right, now we can take a look at the add-ons, and there's a lot of add-ons, and there's a lot of ways that you can kind of mix and match things and get just what you want. So here are starting with the pre-painted minis, and I think they look great. I really do. So if this is something you want, if you have the money for this, I think you're really getting good value for your money. But as an add-on, these figures are $45 for a bundle, and you've got one bundle that is the X-Men figures, and then you've got another bundle that are the characters from Marvel Dice Throne. So $45 for each bundle. You've also got acrylic tokens here. So $40 for the Marvel acrylic tokens, $40 for the X-Men acrylic tokens, and $55 for the missions. There's a lot of tokens for the missions. You've got card sleeves. Not very many cards for the missions, so it's kind of the inverse of the acrylic tokens. So if you're getting card sleeves, $40 for Marvel, and if you previously pledged Marvel Battle Chest with everything, you've already got these, so you don't need these. $40 for the X-Men sleeves, and $5 for the mission sleeves. There's also a Marvel promo pack. It's $9 as an add-on, but if you ordered the Marvel Battle Chest previously, it came with it. So this would be for people who didn't get it before, but if you're getting a bundle, it's going to come with the bundle. So maybe if you picked up, that Marvel Battle Chest at retail, the retail version didn't have the promo pack, so you can now's your chance to get it here. There's also 2 different collapsible dice trays. One of these came with the original Marvel Battle Chest. One of them comes with X-Men, depending on your pledge level, but you can add either one on for $15 each. There are also a huge number of playmats. There are 20 different playmats. These are $20 each. You can add in any number of them, but they are not included in any of the pledges. So if you want any of these, you will need to add them on. There's also this Marvel Hero Balance Kit. So when they created the new X-Men Battle Chest, they looked back at the Marvel Battle Chest and they said, you know what? Miles Morales is a little bit underpowered and Thor is a little bit overpowered. So we're going to make adjustments to that. So you're going to be getting this leaflet, which makes those adjustments for free if you pledge anything. Even if you just pledge Deadpool, you're going to get it for free. If for some reason you don't want to pledge anything in this campaign, but you have that previous Marvel Battle Chest and you just want to get this upgrade, you could add it on for $10. That would be the only thing you'd be adding on, because if you're getting anything else, it's free. You don't need to add it on. And then they just go over those new pledges again. So that is everything. And obviously, if you go all in, it's going to get honking expensive. But there are ways to mitigate that by not getting the minis, just using standees, by not getting acrylic tokens, and by not getting sleeves. But personally, I think that those sleeves are probably the item of those 3 that are most worth your spending your money on, because this is a card game and you're going to be cycling through cards. And in games with heavy card use, I'm always a proponent of sleeves. Finally, everything dice thrown from this campaign, all of this stuff, they're shooting to deliver this in August of 2024. I should mention that this is the richest campaign of the video here at $2.3 million. Also, they had a funding goal of $100,000. So they have a 23 times multiplier. So they are also the biggest multiplier of this campaign. And this campaign launched on October the 17th, and it's going to be running until November the 6th. Okay, from there we're going to go to a pair of games by newer designers and newer publishers. And these are campaigns that I think are among the highest risk of everything that we're going to be looking at, these next 2 campaigns. So I'd just be a little more wary about these. Fall of Lumen, let's go look this up on Board Game Geek, is by a publisher and some designers called 2ID Games. I think that's how you pronounce this. It could just be 2ID Games. But they've only made one other game, and that's Legends of the Void. And this one has delivered in 2022. It's got a 7.9 rating on Board Game Geek, which is pretty good. It's a very complex game, though. 3.92, that is well into the heavy range. So if you don't like heavy games, stay away from this one. And probably stay away from Fall of Lumen as well. But their first game here, if we look at the kind of mechanics in this, it's got like hand management, it's got some set collection, tile placement, take that, tableau building. And now they've gone and made another game with tableau building. Also some area movement, some deck building, kind of a mishmash of things, but it's also got tableau building in it. But there's not much that we know about these designers and this publisher. In fact, these games don't even list the designers, so I can't even tell you who the designers are. But the only thing that we really have to go on is this game that's previously been delivered, Legends of Void, which does have positive things being said about it. But it's only one game, and that makes this a riskier venture, I think. Now, they had a funding goal of $20,000 and change. They're just over that, so they are well funded, but they're just at like a one-time multiplier here. And the campaign is going to run until November the 9th. So let's take a look at this video here. It's a 3-minute video. One game that I would liken this to a little bit, and you'll see as we watch the video, is Dwellings of Eldervale. Now, I'm not saying it plays exactly like Dwellings of Eldervale. I think Dwellings of Eldervale is more a high combat game where, sometimes there's combat, sometimes there's not. But the threat of combat and the things with the various monsters, it's a central part of the game. But there are elements of this that look similar, including the iconography and the meeples and things like that. It's just more of a tableau builder, and I think focusing more on kind of exploration and using cards to create chains and things like that. There's a little bit of like Flamecraft in it maybe as well. Again, in terms of just the look of it, the iconography, and the ease of play. I'm saying ease of play knowing that it's a heavy game, but it feels very well designed graphically, and like there's a good flow to it once you know the rules. So let's check out this video. We'll come back and we'll take a look at the one pledge. So if you like this game, there's not a lot of choices involved here. There's just one pledge, and the only add-on is if you want to get their previous game. So this one, if you decide you want to back it, not a lot of choices, very simple.
My journey began just after the pale night. It was forever night as the sun never rose into the Neal. We fought the abominations of void with mana and mithril to keep them away from the outer lands. Just before our task was over, the portal made a thrill, and it was gone. We had to travel through the Neal before finding a portal to an inner world. But now, we're back. Welcome to the Fall of Lumen, where long-forgotten heroes plug against the flying citadel of Lumen. As setup, you receive 2 heroes to choose from. Each hero grants alternative starting assets to select from. During the game, a hero supports you with skills and a unique triggered ability. At setup, you also receive 2 factions. They also grant an alternative starting asset to choose from and an action that improves during the game as you collect more specialists, mages, warriors, engineers, informers, and voyagers. Fall of Lumens features 35 different heroes and 21 factions. You will face a different start in each game. The deck building is one of the main mechanics. Your deck starts with 7 cards. 5 of them are the same for all players, while you pick the last 2 from a private pool of 4 gifts. You start the game with a personalized deck. The other main mechanic is the area movement. The board is divided into the 8 regions of the outer lands. During the game, you will move across regions to perform different tasks such as capturing patrols, gathering resources, and solving challenges until you reveal an inner world from which to rescue keepers. Each region is connected to a market where you can buy improvements from your deck. Cards are acquired directly to your hand, so you will be able to play them as soon as you buy them. You can also buy trinkets and recruit followers to upgrade your board. Final goal is to infiltrate the keepers you rescued as incognito agents in Lumen, to have it fall. And when the time comes, we will begin the Fall of Lumen.
Tweed Games.
I'm super intrigued by this. I really am. I don't think I'm going to be backing this one. I just have too many other things that I'm backing, and I need to kind of move stuff out of my collection right now. And a lot of things that I'm backing are connected to, like expansions and designers that I like. So there's less room for kind of new IP, new entities, especially, from a newer publisher. But I'm super intrigued, and I really want to play this and see if it's any good. Okay, so the single pledge here not including this follower pledge, not including the, multiple copies, is this keeper pledge. Now, this is a $63 pledge with $21 in shipping. It's $84 total. There are no add-ons. I kind of like that. I like the fact, I like how some companies are using Kickstarter now where they're keeping it simple. They're coming into this, they're saying, we want to make this deluxe version of the game exactly like this. Everything's all included. There's no additional upgrades. You don't have to, do multivariate calculus to try to figure out how you're going to pledge and how much it's going to cost or what you want. We're just going to put in the types of deluxe components that we like, and that's it. And that's what you get. I think there's something to be said for that. It's super clean. And I like the art. The art's super clean. I like it. The iconography is super clean. Everything is super clean. But I like a lot what I see in this. Okay, so there's no add-ons. There's just the game. I'll leave you to explore this page more if you want to see more about it. I'm just scrolling down to their one add-on, though, which is their previous game, Legends of Void, which I have heard good things about. I like this. They're saying their approach. Only one edition. We want to include in Fall of Lumen everything you need to play. No retail and deluxe version. It makes it simpler for everyone, They don't have to worry about two different SKUs or like a retail version and a deluxe version. A pre-stretched campaign, so they already have all the upgraded components that they want. There's no early bird. And as we saw, they're not super funded, but they're funded. Like, this is happening. They've done this without having to do all of that, those headache-inducing options. All right, let's go back down here. I just want to get to there. I want to get that. Here we go. A comparison with Legends of the Void. Fall of Lumen is a standalone game, so they're also letting you know it's not connected to their other one. But if you want to buy their other one, a reprint, you can add it on. And they just ask if you're going to do that to add on a follower pledge, just so they have some gauge about how many more copies they're going to need to reprint of this. What do they say? What do they say about comparisons of the game? Let's see. We decided to face the challenge of deck building. So Fall of Lumen has deck building, which is not true of Legends of Void. And they talk about they enjoyed playing Viscounts of the West Kingdom, the Clank Legacy game, Lost Ruins of Arnak, and the Arkham Horror LCG. So they're trying to combine some of those elements into their new game. They say that Legends of Void is a game about restraints and constraints, whereas Fall of Lumen is a game about abundance and plenty of options. So in Fall of Lumen, you're going to be less cornered. You're going to be more dealing with choosing the abundance of resources and kind of what's going to be right for you. Fall of Lumen also has no take that elements. Cool. Alrighty. So I think, as we already said, $84 with shipping. And this is going to be delivering in June of 2024. From there, we go to the second of the less known, riskier campaigns. And I'd actually say this is the riskier of the two. Because if you look this one up on Board Game Geek, it talks about the publisher being Sandtime, but there's no credited designers at all. And this is their first published game. So at least with the last one, Fall of Lumen, they had produced a game previously. They did a pretty good job with it. This doesn't have anything to point at. It makes it riskier. However, they had a funding goal of $12,500. They're now, over $60,000. So this is like a 5-time multiplier. This campaign launched on October the 17th. It's going to run until November the 16th. And it is a city builder with action points and set collection. So we're going to take a look at the video here. It's about 2 minutes long. Then we'll look at the two pledges. There's a standard and a deluxe. There's no add-ons, and the deluxe only has one thing added on to that pledge, which is an expansion. So it's still pretty easy in terms of deciding what you're going to pledge if you want to pledge it. And I do like a lot of what I see, but there is a higher risk there, and they haven't produced anything before. And of everything that we're looking at, this is the one that I'd be the most concerned that you could pledge and something could happen with the company and you could end up not getting your game down the line. Hopefully that won't happen. I just think this is the highest risk campaign of this video, especially when you compare it to some of the bigger publishers where you know nothing is going to go wrong, or some of the cheaper options like the Roll and Write or the 18-card microgame.
Welcome to the Gilded Realms, a game of resource management, kingdom building, and opportunism. You and up to 3 other players will each lead a unique faction and compete for the title of Ultimate Regent. In the unsettled lands of the pristine mountains, you will build a diverse range of endeavors that will upgrade the 5 provinces using the integrated build queue. This track manages the construction process for all endeavors as they progress into the territory. As you achieve milestones, a unique kingdom builds before your eyes. Resource production increases, opportunity to purchase powerful knowledge opens, and your status rises within the realm. Each year as regent, you set a hidden decree for your populace, represented by 3 stances. Worker stance will give you the option to push one of your economic provinces further, gaining a strategic income bonus. Defense stance prepares your populace for invasion by the ever-looming Sarikar threat, and from other realms who wish to dispute your borders. And finally, the attack stance allows you to send out armies, challenge the Sarikar, or claim your rightful territory from others. The Gilded Realms mitigates dice luck by using a strategically layered combat system, founded on the determination mechanic. If you lose a campaign, you gain determination. These tokens can be freely spent to bolster future combat rounds. And with the additional layers of combat system included, you will have a strategy to suit your preferred playstyle. This area is the hinterland. It contains a player's hand of cards, their fortunes, and caravan exports. Nothing is safe here, and is considered the disputed region of a kingdom, creating an enticing stage for player interaction and negotiation. Appoint unique faction advisors that help shape your vision. As your status rises, so does your council improve. From peaceful sessions to epic wars, the game's outcome depends on your group's choices. Experience high-stakes combat, fortune hunting, and immersive gameplay in this strategic Euro-style kingdom builder. Your kingdom awaits.
So that was Gilded Realms, and we're going to go down here and look at these 2 different pledges. There's the Standard Edition and the Deluxe. So the Standard Edition here is a $68 pledge. This is $22 of shipping for this, so it's a $90 total. And the Deluxe Edition is an $85 pledge. They actually do not give a shipping estimate for this one. They just say that it's going to be more expensive than the Standard. So I'm just going to guess, since the Standard was $22, maybe this is $30. Which would bring the total to $115. And the only thing that's being added on to this one from the previous pledge is this Path of Prosperity expansion that includes 2 new factions and a solo campaign. Both copies of this game are slated for delivery in October 2024, and there are no add-ons, so you're just picking the one that you want, pledging for that. And, you know, just if you do decide to back this, new designer, new publisher, some of the information is a little thin. Just understand that this is a little more risky than most. But I do like to support new designers, and this could be a great game. There are things in there that seem to be compelling, that could be really interesting. They could also fall flat. So explore this campaign a little bit more, look over it, look through some of the videos that are down further in the page if you think you might want to back it, and get some more information so that you can make a better decision here. But I did want to show this to you. There are things about this that I think are interesting. Okay, from here we're going to go to Backerkit for the one game that's on Backerkit, and this is Molly House from Whirligig Games. Now, Whirligig Games is Cole Worley's company. Cole is probably best known as the designer of Root, which is published by Leader Games. Before he became a game designer, Cole, and it says this on this page down lower, Cole actually majored in Victorian studies. And this is a game that is themed around queer folk in the 17th and 18th centuries in Victorian London. And this is a deduction game. It's also a party game. Cole is a co-designer on this, but so is Joe Kelly. And I think probably Joe Kelly was the original designer. I believe they won a design award with this, a designing competition. probably before Cole came into the picture, and then when it was picked up for publication, I think that's when Cole came on as a co-designer, and they made some tweaks to it. Now, Cole also has his company Whirligig Games, and they have published second editions of 2 of his games, Pax Pamir and John Company. I own both of them. I've played Pax Pamir. I have not gotten John Company to the table yet, but I will say that they are exquisitely produced games. They have some amazing components, but they're a little bit different than other components in games. Like in Pax Pamir, there are these, I don't want to say cylinders because they're square, they're rectangular, and you use them as either roads or armies, and they're made out of these pastel-colored resin, and they look almost like these giant buttermints. So they're not components that you really see in other games, but they're so beautiful. And there's a cloth game board in Pax Pamir 2nd edition, which again, I wouldn't think that I like cloth game boards. Normally I wouldn't, but it's so well done. It's really, I think Whirligig Games is a great publisher who is very specific with what they're doing and works very hard to get everything exactly right. And probably for that reason, this is a little bit more expensive for what it is. So it uses hidden rolls, multi-use cards, it's got push your luck, set collection, and the artist here, Rachel Ford, and this is Rachel's first published game as well. So we're going to take a look at the video here, and then we'll go over the 2 pledges. There's really just one for the game, and then there's a bundle with some other games from Whirligig, and there's also some add-ons. And we'll talk about the add-ons because the add-ons obviously are not included with the pledges, some of them. So if you want everything for Molly House, you're going to need to add on both of the add-ons, and the price will go up pretty significantly over what the original pledge is for Molly House. But let's take a look.
In the early 18th century, London was quickly becoming one of the largest cities in Europe. Vibrant discussions about new ways of living were being hosted at inns and coffee houses across the city, and in back rooms of certain establishments, one might gain access to a thriving underground community. Festivities and lavish masquerades, gin-soaked christening ceremonies. These places were known as Molly houses. People expressed themselves freely here, but this did not come without judgment and persecution. A citizen group called the Society for the Reformation of Manners did not approve and sought to end these deviant behaviors. Some Mollies were arrested and found guilty of sodomy. Others accepted coercive bribes from the society and became informers, enabling raids that destroyed these communities. Molly House is a game about the queer subculture of 1720s London, designed by Joe Kelly and Cole Worley, with illustrations by Rachel Ford. This interactive board game features unique card play, where your desires are also your greatest liability. Celebrate the joy that bound this community, but be careful, there may be informers among us. From the creators that brought you Pax Pamir and John Company comes this exciting new title. Okay.
I'm really excited for this one. I'm definitely going to back this because Whirligig Games is such a good publisher. It's an auto back almost for me. And it's got a theme that you don't often see. Very unique. So I'm excited for this. Okay, so let's take a look at the pledges. Where are they? Well, if I go to Backerkit, they'll show you. Okay, so $60 just for Molly House. There's $10 in shipping on this, so $70 total. And then if you wanted to go all in and get, all 3 games from Whirligig, this is a $230 pledge with $25 in shipping. It's $255 total. Now, if you just want to get add-ons, you can do that, and in general, you're probably paying about $6 in shipping for the add-ons. But you can certainly add on add-ons to your other pledge. So they've got add-ons for Molly House. These are metal miniatures, 5 oversized metal player miniatures. This is $30. It's not included in that $60 pledge, nor are the card sleeves. So if you want these, you'll need to add both of these on. That means you're paying $40 in addition to the $70 pledge. That includes shipping, so it's $110 total. And they've also got more copies of the various games. So $60 for Molly House, $70 for PAX Premier, $100 for John Company. And then they've got the add-ons for all of them. So metal coins for PAX Premier, $15. Sleeves for PAX Premier, $10. Metal coins for John Company, $30. Sleeves for John Company, $15. Let's look at this, because I kind of skipped over this. They had a $50,000 funding goal. They're currently at $190,000, which is really good. I think especially for something like Backerkit, which a lot of people aren't going to Backerkit. You know, it's not like Kickstarter. It's not getting a lot of extra, people who are going there for other things who might find it. You kind of have to know what you are looking for, I think, when you're going over to Backerkit. So I'm very impressed by this, considering that this is on Backerkit. And it's got 20 days left on the campaign, meaning that the campaign is running until November the 10th. Finally, this campaign is going to deliver in September of 2024. All right, our last campaign of the video is kind of in keeping with Molly House, at least for the time period, because it's a campaign for Obsession Characters expansion with metal coins. Now, the video for this is a 9-minute video in which the designer and artist talks about a lot of the choices that he's made. So we're not going to play that video. It's pretty long, and I think it's worth a watch. You should go watch it, but I'll let you do that on your own. I'll just say that most of what he says in that video is an explanation for why in this campaign you can only get this new expansion and the metal coins. So if you're someone who, like me, doesn't own Obsession, but you've been thinking for a long time, oh, I should pick that up. I hear that's really good. It's now in the top 100 on Board Game Geek. It's 83 of all games overall, which is amazing for this little publisher, Kayenta Games, which is the publishing entity of Dan Halligan, who is the artist and the designer. So this is a little game that over time has just gotten more and more popular. There's a couple of other expansions that were produced previously, as well as the base game. I did some exploring, figuring, I was thinking I don't necessarily want to back this if I can't get the base game, if I can't get the other stuff for it, and you can't get it through this campaign. However, I'll share with you my findings. This game is not available on Amazon. It's not available on Card House, on Game Nerds, on Miniature Market. But if you go to Kayenta Games' website, you can order everything that's previously been available there. And I believe, let me check my notes here. I believe you can get everything over there. It's $130 plus $24 if you're in the continental US. It's $154 to get everything else for Obsession from their website. Now that's going to include the second edition, the upstairs downstairs expansion, the Wessex expansion, and the promotional improvement tiles. So all of that stuff can be gotten directly from the publisher, or you can try to find it in a retail shop. And part of the reason he doesn't want to offer those things here is because he doesn't want to undermine the retail shops that have kind of helped make his game successful. I understand that. I get that. It's a little frustrating, I think, because I'm the kind of person who wants to go in and just get an all-in-one from one campaign. But there is a solution, and that solution is to get everything else from Kayenta Games' website. So this one had a funding goal of $50,000. They're currently at $189,000. They're doing really well, especially considering that you can only back for these two new things. There's only 9 days left to go on this campaign. It's going to finish on October the 31st. I mentioned that this is the original base game is an 83 on Board Game Geek. It also has an 8.1 score, which is pretty good. And it's got a 3.12 complexity, which is solidly in the medium-heavy range. Okay, so there's 3 pledges to go over. There's the 2 new items and then a bundle. Now, there's metal coins, and if you go back and watch that video, he will say that these metal coins are twice as thick as any other metal coins out there. So they're going to be really ridiculously thick and heavy, especially for their size. Just getting the metal coins is a $21 pledge with $8 in shipping, $29 total. If you want this new expansion, though, the Reverend expansion, this is $28, $10 shipping, $38 total. This is a characters expansion, and if we kind of go down here, you can see what's in it. It's got meeples that you're going to be able to use in the game, different meeples, they do different things. And you can look over this. This is like a new board. So, you can explore this more at your leisure. But it's adding like a new sideboard and some new meeples and things. Some new gameplay mechanics. But if you want to bundle them together, it's a $39 pledge, $10 shipping, $49 total. That means over this one, which was $38 with shipping, you're only paying $11 more. So you're getting those coins for $11 when if you're just getting them alone with shipping, they would be $29. So you're saving like $18 on the coins if you get this bundle with the new character expansion. The 2 new items here are going to deliver in August of 2024. And if you go to Kayenta Games website and buy anything, from them, the base game and the other expansions, presumably you'll be getting those soon, within a few weeks or a month or something like that. All right, so that wraps the campaign part of this video. But before we wrap completely, I do want to quickly go over the games that are new to my collection. And these are games that I'm looking for feedback from you regarding once I start to produce my revamped teach and review series and do live streaming. Do you want me to include any of these games in either of those 2 formats? So the new games during this period are Anunnaki Dawn of the Gods, or I should say I got half of that Kickstarter. The other half is coming next week. But that is a 4X game designed by, or co-designed by Simone Luciani and published by Cranio Creations. Same designer, co-designer, and publisher as Barrage. Barrage is on a lot of people's, top games lists at this point. There were some problems with production and getting it produced and delivered correctly. They needed a couple extra campaigns with that one to right some wrongs. But they did follow through and they did finally deliver, and it is a very good game. You can play it on Board Game Arena. So I'm very much looking forward to Anunnaki and seeing what they've done with a 4X game. I know David Turksey worked on the solo mode. He said it was a little complicated dealing with them. There was a lot of back and forth, but he's happy with the end result. Now, the rest are a bunch of retail games that I got in all in one shipping. One of them is Ahoy, which is a worker placement, tile placement, area majority, and pick up and deliver game. It's designed by Leader Games, published by Kyle Farron. They are the publisher and artist of Root, and it seems like from time to time they try to give Kyle something to do that is not Root related. One of those games in the past was Fort. It was designed by a different designer than Cole Worley, who is the designer of Root, and this is another game put up by Leader Games with art by Kyle Farron with a different designer. And the designer this time around is Greg Loring Albright, who worked on or designed the Block by Block Uprising game, which is something that I do own. I'm very excited to get that to the table, and I'm interested in seeing more of Greg's designs. So I picked up Ahoy. I got the first expansion for Arkham Horror, which is Dead of Night. That's the 3rd edition. This is something I'm doing because I'm trying to kind of get some expansions for some games that theoretically I'd like to live stream in the future. And I do like a lot of Cthulhu stuff. I'm looking forward to live streaming maybe some Elder Sign, but definitely some Arkham Horror 3rd edition, Arkham Horror the card game, Mansions of Madness. And so I'm picking up expansions so I'll be able to have more content to stream. So that is one of those things, Arkham Horror Dead of Night. I also picked up Mansions of Madness Beyond the Threshold. Same situation, and Beyond the Threshold is the first big expansion for Mansions of Madness. I'm not including the first 2 expansions that upgrade a lot of first edition stuff to 2nd edition because those are very hard to find. And they also had like a scenario expansion that came out early on, but Beyond the Threshold is the first kind of bigger expansion for Mansions of Madness. So I picked that up as well. I got Gen 7 and Gen 7 Breaking Point. That is from Plaid Hat Games. It's in their Crossroads series. It didn't have the best reviews, and so I waited for a while, and then I picked it up on a big sale because I love legacy games. I like the Crossroad games. I like Plaid Hat, but I waited to get it cheap. But that is certainly something that I love to live stream as a campaign game, a legacy game. I also got the Essential Edition of Between Two Cities. I really like Between Two Cities. I think it's a really cool game where you're playing with people on either side of you, and you're creating a little cooperative tableau with each one of those players, and then the one that scores lower is the one that you get as your score at the end of the game. But it's a really interesting mechanic, and you're kind of working on two different tableaus with two different people. I really like the game. They also did a version that is Between the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I don't like that version as much. Because you're designing it with another person, they took what makes Mad King Ludwig so unique, which are the kind of different shaped tiles, and made them all into similar square-shaped tiles. So Between Two Cities is definitely my favorite version of the game, and I wanted to get the Essential Edition that just bakes in everything together. I did actually have someone gift me the other version with the expansion. It's kind of all put into one box. So now I'll either be selling off that version or maybe giving it away in a future video down the line. That is something that I want to do in the future with my viewers, is to either sell off some of my games to you at a very, very reduced rate or just give them away. But that'll be a feature of this channel that will come into play in the future after I've launched my live streaming and relaunched my teach and reviews. The last game in that shipment was Time Stories Cavendish, which is in the newer Time Story cycle, the blue cycle, and I think that was the only one that I was still missing in that cycle. These are kind of one-off games where you're solving a mystery. You kind of go through something a bunch of times, learning what you need to do and what is the efficient path to do that. And once you've figured out how to do that, you've essentially kind of solved the scenario, and then you can move on and you're not going to play it again. So looking forward to getting that one played. And again, I think those are games that would be great to do live streaming, where everyone watching can kind of experience the story together. Now, finally, the 4 campaigns that may be included in next week's video, the ones that have already launched that I'm interested in sharing with you. One of them is the new Amsterdam Essential campaign from Queen Games. I know there is a little bit of blowback because Queen Games is essentially using Kickstarter just to sell off old stock, but I like Stefan Feld a lot. He's one of my favorite designers, and I still think there's some value into looking at that campaign, and it may be a way that people want to get that game. So I probably will look at that. I'll also be looking at the new campaign from Garpal Games for Ezra and Nehemiah. It's a Bible-themed game. I'm not usually big on Bible-themed games. I think there aren't a lot out there, and the ones that are out there are not well-made games. They're kind of just pushing an agenda. But with Garpal, you know that the gameplay is going to be really, really solid, and that the Bible theme behind it is not something that's being pushed. It's just a theme. So I'm super excited to see what they've done with a Bible-themed game and all of the design talent that goes into all of their other games, like the Of the North Sea trilogy, the Of the West Kingdom trilogy, and now Of the South Tigris trilogy. I may be including a game called Hydra, although that's the one that I'm least sure about. I'll need to evaluate that one a little bit more. And I will most definitely be including the Witcher Path of Destiny campaign. There will probably be more campaigns included, but I will be including things that have launched up through Tuesday, which is yet to come. So tune in next week and you'll see which of those 4 games I'm actually including. I think Hydra is the only one that's on the fence, and what all I'm including of everything that launches between now and Tuesday. And certainly on Tuesday, there are going to be a bunch of games, because Tuesday is the main day that crowdfunding board games launch. That wraps the video. Thank you very much for joining me today and kind of looking at all this stuff and looking at the videos with me. Hopefully I helped make up your mind about some game, whether that's a game that you were on the fence about, but you wanted some help parsing through the pledges and the add-ons and stuff like that, or maybe just a game that you weren't aware about that I brought to your attention. So tune in next week for another video where we'll be looking at more campaigns. Maybe not as many as 8, but we'll see. Until then, play lots of great games. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.